right, 17 October 2025, and today I'm excited to be giving you the morning update of all the trending news that is taking place in Zimbabwe. And today we'll continue the coverage of Chiwenga, the Vice President of Zimbabwe, and what is going to happen between today and tomorrow. So today ZANU-PF is supposed to be in Mutare if there is no protest in Harare. So it depends a lot on what happens in Harare at the Africa Unity Square. If the protest succeeds, there will be no ZANU-PF Annual National People's Conference because there will be chaos. So let's wait for the next 2 hours and see what is going to happen. However, the most important revelations over the past 2 days is that Chiwenga, the Vice President of Zimbabwe, has been under investigation since February. So they've been investigating him for his associations with people that are based in South Africa. That includes Xavier Kasukuwere. And this was revealed by Christopher Mutsvangwa, the spokesperson of ZANU-PF yesterday. That press conference is a precursor of something quite big that is going to take place, which is an attempt to pass a vote of no confidence in Chiwenga between today and tomorrow, and then to get a resolution which will result in his dismissal as the Vice President of Zimbabwe. So there's a certain process you have to follow to remove a Vice President. You don't just remove him, and that is what they are planning to do. So yesterday, Christopher Mutsvangwa revealed that Mnangagwa has been investigating Chiwenga, and they picked up that he was working on a dossier with Kasukuwere since around April. So that's when Mnangagwa got the actual dossier into his hands. So I'm going to show you Christopher Mutsvangwa talking about it, and then we'll move on to the news. So let's quickly look at what he said here, and then I'll show you other things that they found out during the investigation.
The Chiwenga dossier. You already had it, the document. So, 2-3 weeks ago, our Vice President decides to turn the Presidium into a kangaroo court, an inquisition court, Kutonga President, citing that document, and that document, he got to.
Okay, so I'm going to not obviously continue with this because it's showing adverts now. So what happened here is, and let me explain to you what has been going on. So the two factions have been aware of each other, and Mnangagwa has been deploying heavily in South Africa, as I've been saying here, over a number of months. So they've been investigating the relationship between Chiwenga and people that are based in South Africa. This has resulted in the arrest, for example, of Nokayama Bunu and all the things that I've said to you here in the past. So this dossier, according to Mutsvangwa, was found and handed to Mnangagwa around March, April. Obviously, he doesn't want to say the date because it will expose when people went and found that document. But what is the purpose of revealing that information now? The reason why he's revealing that information is because that information is going to be used between today and tomorrow, and they will not allow Chiwenga to continue as Vice President. There are other things that they've also been saying. For example, if you go to Dug Up, Maynard Manyowa has revealed that Chiwenga has hired Obama publicist or speech therapist to improve his speech. So they've got information, and this information, some of it is from people, some of it is from the gadgets that have been stolen from Minotabo. You remember that they stole gadgets from Minotabo. I've said it here that those gadgets were not stolen by a thief. So they have those gadgets. I don't know how they got their hands on them, but some of the information is coming from those gadgets. So you can see what Maynard said here this week, that Chiwenga has hired the speech therapist of Obama. So this is like a short clip. Let me just give it to you.
Of an under-sieged deputy itself. So Chiwenga has tons of sympathy. But the biggest move that he has made to help himself after realizing that Mnangagwa may want someone else to take over is to fix his own shortcomings. So, for instance, Chiwenga has always been mocked for his poor speech delivery and his poor English language. You know, he would often mix up his R's and his L's. And he's changed that a lot. He has actually been working with a speech coach, a speech therapist, who actually worked with Barack Obama's voice.
Okay, so these are some of the things that you cannot find anywhere. If you look on the internet, you will never find where Chiwenga hired the Obama speech therapist. That information is definitely not from the public domain. It's information that you will never get in public. We did speak about Chiwenga's new look. Chiwenga looks very different, and he appears to have been working on his appearance. He has also been able to secure meetings with the Pope. He's been able to secure meetings with Joe Biden. So some of these things have actually alarmed Mnangagwa, resulting in Mnangagwa wanting to also go to the Vatican. So that investigation has started way back, and that relationship between Chiwenga and Mnangagwa cannot be repaired. The two men cannot sit together and plan on the future of ZANU-PF. So my expectation is that today you are going to see the beginning of that vote of no confidence and eventual removal as vice president of Chiwenga is going to be removed. Chiwenga has attempted to distance himself from the protests through a letter, and that letter, I do not know if this is real or fake, but I saw that this letter has been tweeted by Charamba yesterday. You can go and check out the Jamwanda Twitter handle. So I don't know if this is a real letter or not, and you cannot tell what is real and what is not. However, what is real is that an investigation has been carried out on Chiwenga since around February, and that follows a meeting that was held in December last year, where the army generals and most of the security generals were present around 16 December, which resulted in Mnangagwa coming back and firing all the security people around January. So this investigation has been ongoing. Everyone else has been shuffled. The only person left to shuffle right now is Chiwenga. Otherwise, we're going for another year during which there will be unrest in the country. So this, I don't think they're going to allow it to go for 1 year, another year worse than what we had now. And particularly in ZANU-PF, nothing is happening now. All they do is fight each other. So there's no more work taking place. In government, there's no more work taking place. In ZANU-PF, there's no more work taking place. All they do is fight. And I don't believe that Mnangagwa will allow that situation to continue. So the thing that we're all waiting for is what happens with the protest. If the protest succeeds, then Chiwenga will come out on top. If the protest fails, then Chiwenga will be removed. That is his last hope. That is Chiwenga's last hope. So I don't know how much resources he has put into that protest. And we're going to wait. It's only 2 more hours. Then we'll know what is going on. Right, I think we've covered everything. Let's quickly move into some news. So the first thing we're looking at is the relatives. So the relatives of people who passed away in the DNC bus accident have left Zimbabwe to go and identify the bodies, and 7 children who are part of those people who passed away are going to be identified through DNA. You can go and see that story in the H Metro newspaper. Popular fitness trainer Tinashe Gandari has been arrested. You can go and check out that story in H Metro for stealing $5,000 from a parked car of a client. So he is in Borojo. So he's one of the fitness trainers at Borojo, and he was arrested after he left his client training, and he went to the changing room, stole the keys, went to the parked car and stole the money. So that is the lead story today inside of H Metro. What an embarrassment. But H Metro today is very action-packed. Lots of stories over there, so you can go and check it out. And this story is written by Aaron Nyamayaro. So you can go and check out that story by Aaron Nyamayaro in the H Metro newspaper. What a shame. This man appears to have had very wealthy clients, so I do not know why he stole the money. However, this newspaper says $70,000 in cash has been stolen from parked vehicles this week from different locations. So people are not putting their money in the bank. They are keeping the money in satchels and all sorts of strange places, including someone who lost $34,000 in his Ford Ranger after it was broken into when he parked. Very crazy. I don't know how people make so much money. And then let's go to other newspapers or go to Botswana. It said what has happened in Botswana. The Botswana economy not doing well at all. So President Maboko recently opened a development or a planned development where 3,000 houses were to be built. And unfortunately, the deal has fallen through with the Namibian company that was supposed to develop these units. So those 3,000 units are no longer going to be developed. And the Namibian company is planning to sue the government of Botswana. So it's called Namibia's Ongos Value Group. The Botswana government has cancelled the contract and therefore they are planning to sue. Then obviously Danai Gurira is still around in Zimbabwe. She is carrying out interviews. So yesterday you can go and see the interview that she did with Star FM. And then in terms of other things, let's quickly look here. I wanted to check out one story. Let's see. Yes, you can go, as I said, H Metro Action Paid today. Takura Blot has gone into rehab. So much drug use in Zimbabwe and it's set. And then in South Africa, we've got massive business stories. The biggest business story in South Africa today is the merger of Premier Group, which is a food company, with RFG to challenge Tiger Brands. So you can see the share price over here. And this company called RFG, it produces most of the canned foods that you eat. So if you ever eat baked beans or jam, those things are made by a company called RFG. And today they've announced the merger, a proposed merger with Premier. So there is a proposed merger and that has been announced in the newspapers. You can go and see it here. I think this is a SENS announcement. Sorry, this is a SENS announcement which was sent out yesterday here. So that merger is massive. And we're going to see that as the consolidation continues in the food industry. Then in Mozambique, 2 policemen have been killed during an attack at Jamesfield Simon de Pio's Ruby mine after 40 illegal miners invaded this mine, which is owned by Jamesfield of South Africa. And the reason why they invaded the farm was that there was a raid on illegal immigrants. And these illegal immigrants then ganged up and went to attack the mine. So this is instability continuing in Mozambique. And unfortunately, this won't end until Mozambique has a proper government. Then we have, let's quickly look at other things here before we go to other newspapers. I want to look at the results. PSG have produced their results. Massive jump in assets under management. So I've been explaining that South Africa is going through the period that Zimbabwe went through, where the economy has stopped working. So all the money is going into investments. So people are just dumping money into the market, and you can see the jump in the value of assets under management here. It's crazy. 20% in an environment where you say inflation is 3% is unheard of. And this is what is happening in South Africa. The stock exchange, Johannesburg Stock Exchange, has gone up by no less than 30%, with some shares going up by over 200% in 1 year. So PSG is produced their results. You can go and check them out today. And what is the long-term implication? The long-term implication is that the South African economy is going to shrink, manufacturing is going to go away, and it's going to be very difficult for this economy. Right, let's look at other newspapers. I want to check out the Herald. The Herald, I don't think they published. Let's see if they've published. Herald Zimbabwe. Not yet. Chronicle Zimbabwe. Chronicle Zimbabwe, not yet. B Metro. Seems like everyone is sleeping. Manica Post. So Manica Post is still not published. So we don't have any Zimbabwean newspaper. And as you are aware, the Newsday and the Independent newspaper have closed. So they are no longer published. Published because of whatever has happened over there. So let's quickly look at Zambia. What is happening in Zambia? My favorite country, my second country. I am almost a citizen of Zambia now because I like it so much. Let's look at what happened yesterday. Right, the burial of the late former president of Zambia, Edgar Lungu, has failed to take off the talks after Zambian government decided to engage in covert clandestine attempts to access the mortal remains of the head of state without the knowledge of the family. So that is what they're saying here. I'll give you the details on Gambakwe. We're going to do an article on this, and I'll also go and see the guys at the morgue when I have a chance. I've been over there before. And then what else? This newspaper says HH is breaching diplomatic protocols by making public-private diplomatic conversations he has been having with other foreign heads of states, which may risk Zambia getting isolated, says Harry Kalaba, sorry. That's crazy. All right, I think there's not much here, much else. Let's look at, we said B Metro is not published, all the other newspapers are not published, and we can take a break because we're going to be back here very soon. Let me look at our people on Facebook very quickly, and I want to start with those that have published. And most people that are smart don't talk during such a time. So today is a very dangerous day. Today and tomorrow are the most dangerous days in Zimbabwe. You cannot believe what is going to happen. There is no way Mnangagwa is going to leave this situation like this. I can assure you, you are going to see something very big, except if Mnangagwa is not strong enough. So there is a possibility that Mnangagwa is not strong enough to act on Chiwenga. If that is the case, then you are still going to see a lot taking place. But let's look at President Hakainde Hichilema over here. What has he done? So we wish to congratulate Army Commander Lieutenant General Geoffrey on his induction to the U.S. Army War College Hall of Fame. Guys, this is amazing. I don't know how he managed to do this, to be inducted into the U.S. Hall of Fame. So let's see what he did here. So we also honor the late, so an honor that highlights both his leadership and strong partnership between the U.S. and Zambian armed forces in advancing global peace and security. We also honor the late Army Commander General Isaac Chisuzi, posthumously inducted at the same ceremony. His legal service remains a guiding light. May his soul rest in peace. So I'll give you reasons later why he was inducted into the U.S. Hall of Fame. I don't know what they did, but we'll check it out and I'll let you guys know. And then it was a momentous occasion to officiate the commission of the urea plant, and that is a fertilizer plant. So President Hakainde Hichilema doing very well. Investors are flocking into Zambia. When I was in Zambia last time, it was so hard to get out of the airport. People are going into Zambia, and look at that plant. That is amazing. Over here, this is huge. So go check it out on his pages. And then let's go to President Dumaboko. So these are my favorite presidents. I follow them every day. As the government and civil service, we are not immune to the threat of money laundering. So he's speaking about money laundering. Go and check it out.
The channeling of the resources takes many forms. People buy property. They move it through drug trafficking.
Okay, so you can go check that out. Very sad to see that this is happening across the region. And then let's look at Madam Boss, the person with the most endorsements in Zimbabwe. She's got so many endorsements. It's shocking. It's like the whole industry only works with her. So it's Slay Day. I don't like leather pants, but that is what she's wearing. Go check it out, Madam Boss. And then who else here? I think we've covered Chidosa Nyatwe over here. Political desk. His Excellency President Mnangagwa embodies a powerful brand of personal integrity, strategic vision. I don't know who is this, but they're talking about Mnangagwa over here. So people share with her. She's not the one who wrote this. They share on her page. And as usual, you can go and check out her pages. Let's look at our comments, and then I'll be back here to give you updates on two things. That is the ZANU-PF Annual National People's Conference and the protest. So as you can see that it's now daylight, it's now light. So we are going to start seeing pictures of what's happening at Africa Unity Square. If something has happened overnight, we'll be able to tell you what has happened overnight. One of the biggest things that has happened in South Africa is the discovery in the wreckage of buckets and buckets of ARVs and also of cough mixtures or Bronglia, which is a very strong cough mixture. It was found inside the wreckage. And when it comes to ARVs, what people are doing is they're taking ARVs from here in South Africa, and then they sell them on the black market in Zimbabwe. And the South African government has commented on it to say people should not buy those ARVs, because what people are doing here, when someone is supposed to get their free ARVs, they take it, instead of taking it, they sell it to the black market here, and they don't use, so they get resistance. So the South African government has said people should not do that. They should take the ARVs and not give them to Zimbabweans to sell in Zimbabwe. Why are people buying ARVs on the black market? Because people are using them as PrEP, which is they don't want to get infected with HIV, so they take it when they don't have HIV. And that is a big black market which is there. And yesterday I mentioned that that is not the correct way. You cannot take the ARV of someone and say you're preventing yourself from HIV. That's not how it works, because PrEP is not the same as treatment for someone on HIV. PrEP is much weaker than a treatment for someone who is on HIV or HIV treatment. So if you take the treatment of someone who's on HIV, you're going to damage your liver, because the HIV drugs are very powerful. So you can't just, so the combination for someone on treatment is got 3 or more drugs inside one pill. The combination for someone who's on PrEP is got 2 drugs. And you must make sure that it's checked. You are checked first. You cannot be taking PrEP when you already have HIV, or you cannot take PrEP that is not aligned to you. Let's say you've got other underlying conditions. That is why you need to go to a nurse, and then or a doctor, they write you a prescription. So people in Zimbabwe are just drinking those ARVs, even if they don't have. And then sometimes they have it, sometimes they don't. So don't do that. Do the right thing. Okay, let's look at other comments. Mkoma James says, why does Gambakwe talk to people like we're children? We can see don't go there. Don't preach to people with brains. I don't know what you're talking about. Then the dossier was read by Geza a long time ago. It is not about resources, it's from people of Zimbabwe. All right, Gertrude, you've got a very important point that I want to address. Geza is not an official of the government of Zimbabwe. What Chris Mutsvangwa is saying is that Chiwenga then took a dossier into the Politburo and read it. And when they asked him who certified this document, he could not answer. Why do you want a document to be certified? The information on that document need to be confirmed. You need to say, I believe this information. So let's take, for example, the allegations made and the conclusions reached. So the allegations made were against Tagure, Scott Sakupanya, Denis Ngwaya. You saw the specific allegations made over there. And then the conclusion was that these must be arrested immediately. So these things were in the dossier. But I don't think that's what Chiwenga meant to say they must arrest them immediately. Because you don't arrest someone before an investigation. You must do an investigation before you arrest. The problem that is happening now is that Chiwenga has also taken information that says Mnangagwa is meeting people in his private office. Mnangagwa is moving around with criminals, and these criminals are reversing what was done in November 2017. What that means is that there's been a direct confrontation between Chiwenga and Mnangagwa. I know that a lot of people like Chiwenga, but what is going to happen is that the two of these people, these two, cannot continue together. It won't work. So one of them has to drop off, or one of them has to go down, and that has to happen during this conference. There is a process of removing a vice president. You don't just fire him. It's not possible. So that process is going to happen in public. Right. Then let's look at other comments. With IRV, they produce drugs. They don't just drink them. You are right, Mkoma Dumi. I didn't know that. That is what happens. I do not know how this works, but you're correct. I understand that it's not just for. So you're right. I don't seem to know what is going on regarding that situation. But what I know is that many guys in Zimbabwe, or many ladies, are on this prep, and some of them don't understand how it works. Are people already in Harare? I don't know. I will let you know as soon as the day breaks. We need war once. Do you guys know? Have you guys ever been in war? Do you know what it means to be at war? I always ask people, and people don't know. When there's a war, someone is going to go into your house. They're going to take out their gun. They're going to shoot you and take your money. They're going to shoot you and drive your car. And war is not good. You don't want war. What you want is stability in Zimbabwe. You want stability. You don't want war. So why do we need a political system? So in the moment, we don't have a political system. We need a political system that will allow our country to grow. And that means we need opposing political parties. You need people to be able to form a party, have an election, and after the election, it's over. In Zimbabwe, it's never over. So the election ends. Immediately after, we start again. Our country is not stable. That is why it's not growing. Do you believe in Mutsvangwa? Yes, I believe in Mutsvangwa because they've arrested Nyoka Mabunu and he's been in jail. So let me tell you why Geza is not arrested. Geza is not arrested because the South Africans are using Geza for leverage. So according to my intelligence sources, the Zimbabweans have got 2 South Africans who are in Harare right now, who are being protected by Mnangagwa. So those 2 are supposed to be extradited back to South Africa. However, Mnangagwa is not releasing those people. He's keeping them, he's protecting them. And if Mnangagwa was to agree to send back those people, that very next day, the South Africans would send Nyoka Mabunu and Geza to Zimbabwe. So this is information that I've received from my own sources, and the names are known of the 2 guys who are being protected, who ran into Zimbabwe from South Africa, and who are being protected by Mnangagwa. So there's a big thing, obviously, taking place. But as I'm saying to you, it's not possible for Chiwenga and Mnangagwa to then continue as if normal. It's normal because one day someone is just going to be taken out the hard way. So at least now, because there's a conference, they will deal with it. And that is why Mutsvangwa says there's going to be a drama today. And Opam Chinguri is going to be a big beneficiary. Waopa, Wachaita, a big beneficiary of what is going on. Because I believe that they will try to elevate Opam Chinguri to the vice presidency. Because people like Valerio, I don't think they are able to take a political position. Like you can't go direct to the army into the vice presidency. So what they're going to do, they'll obviously try to push Opam Chinguri into that position. That is with Chiwenga right now. So Opam Chinguri has already arrived. She was one of the first people to arrive there at Mutare. That is her province. And let's see what happens this morning. As I said to you, Opam Chinguri is the most cunning person inside of ZANU-PF. She will talk with a soft voice, but she is probably the most dangerous person in ZANU-PF. She is able to maneuver. She's been in this environment longer than anybody else that is in that environment. And if she makes the vice president, she will probably make the president too. And she's loyal to Mnangagwa. They believe that she's extremely loyal to Mnangagwa. Okay, I think we've covered everything. In the absence of my newspapers, I'll have to go. Let's see if any of them is published. I would have preferred to have been in Harare. So by December, I'll be down that side so that when we do news, we don't tell you things from the newspapers only. So I will make a plan so that I'm in Harare by December. As you know, we got a Gambakwe 2028 campaign, and that will be interesting. You'll see what we're going to do. We're going to do very, very well. So none of the newspapers are published. Chronicle is still not there. Herald is still not there. Manica Post is still not there. Everyone is still sleeping. It's a Friday. They are probably planning for the weekend. And B Metro is still not there. It's shocking. I've never seen a day like this where all our newspapers are not available. Okay, so I think that is great. Let us give it another 2 hours. I'll be monitoring the environment here. So I'll be monitoring the environment on a daily basis. So today you are going to see M31 exist. I don't believe in. Okay, so let me explain here very carefully. One, we don't believe in people just protesting and removing a president without a plan. So myself, I don't know what is going to happen. So I've never said we must do a protest and then remove Mnangagwa and then there will be no one in the office. So I don't believe in that kind of thing. What I believe in is elections. So we want elections. That's what I want. And I also don't believe in arrests. So myself, I don't believe in arrests. When Gambakwe 2028 succeeds and Gambakwe becomes president, no one is going to get arrested. There's going to be an amnesty. We're going to focus on building the economy. So I don't care about arresting anybody. And then let's see other questions you have. So you were speaking about this demonstration in Yoka. No, I've got two heads. I've got the head of a media person and also the head of Gambakwe 2028. If you see this logo, which I'm looking at here, I'm talking media. When you see this logo here, this one, we're doing M31 business. That is M31 business. We don't talk the politics. When I am doing the morning show, normally you don't see me talking about my opinions or our plans. There is a gap, a big gap at presidential level in Zimbabwe. So if you look at all the presidential candidates, if you look at everyone who contested in the last elections, they are gone. So according to what has been said, Chamisa has already left Zimbabwe. And his wife has left and his child has left. So let me show you what was said yesterday so that you guys understand where we are. So Chamisa left Zimbabwe and went to a university in the United States of America. So I'm trying to find that tweet by Chinopudza. So where is the tweet by Chinopudza? I want to see it. Apologies, I didn't want to talk about this morning. So here it is. So Chamisa, his wife and his child have already left Zimbabwe. And here it is. That is Lavmo Chinopudza, the youth leader of the CCC, says in 2025, the son leaves to attend university in America. Wife gets a lucrative job opportunity in America. Dad enrolls for PhD at Johns Hopkins University, Maryland, and the struggle remains leaderless. So this was tweeted 2 days ago. Chamisa, according to this guy here, who is a top CCC official, or he was in the Chamisa's party, has already left or is leaving. And his wife has already got a job and his son is already in an American university. So that is not so Chamisa over here. So what do you need? You need an opposition leader. But look at Ngonzora. What is Ngonzora's plan? Yesterday you saw him talking about demonstrations. Demonstration is not enough. You need a manifesto. what is Monzora's manifesto? So if you look at the opposition leaders, what is the manifesto of Kaskwere? So these guys don't have a manifesto, and they even don't have a platform. They don't talk. So how long has it taken for Nkosana Moyo to talk? He's the presidential candidate from the past. Has he ever talked? Munofan and Zara, if you put these guys in office, Munofan and Zara, they've got no plan. So what you need is someone that can say to you, we're going to have 1,500 tax-free, 160 new towns, those kind of things I normally tell you. Because the government of Mnangagwa, although it is not able to deliver, it's been in place for a long time. So you can see that they are fixing issues inside, within themselves. They have got an opposition. So you can see that there is no agreement between Mnangagwa and Chiwenga. That is a balance already inside of ZANU-PF. The reason why that is happening is because there is some ideology inside ZANU-PF. So the ideology that Chiwenga is pushing is the ideology of the party. The ideology that Mnangagwa is pushing is the ideology of Zviganana. But there is what? There is an ideology. If you go to the opposition, there's no one. There's actually no ideology. If they get in, we're going to have another 10 years of instability as they work through the system. But if you've got a strong president and a coalition, you're going to do well, just like Botswana is doing. They've got a coalition and the country is working through issues. So you're not going to see instability in Botswana because politically they are working as a coalition and it's working very well. Look at Mozambique. There's a lot of instability in Mozambique because they are finding each other. The guys in the opposition, the current opposition candidate doesn't have a political party. He only formed a political party, that is Sekuruvena, a few months ago. And so Anamola was formed, I can say, like 2 months ago. So a political system must be mature. Then you have a maturity of the country. Otherwise, your economy won't develop at all. So this is our vision. We're going to do well. And unfortunately, for the opposition in Zimbabwe, we need to go through a victory to win. And it's very easy to beat ZANU-PF right now. ZANU-PF is very, very weak. They are not. Imagine if Takura was to contest an election against me, he's going to lose so badly. It will never work. Takura cannot win an election against me. It's not possible. Even if he pumps money, it won't work. Right, I think we've covered it. What's wrong with hiring a speech therapist to improve yourself? What is wrong with that? Juliet, I didn't say it's wrong. I said that information is not in the public domain. It's part of an investigation. So if you ask Maynard, where did he get that information? There's no public place where there was an announcement that Chiwenga is hired a speech therapist. So it's like when you're listening to him, he's revealing something that he heard from some intelligence source. Patrick Chinembri says, my pills are not kuma. Guys, if you are feeding your chickens ARVs so that people can eat the chicken, it's so terrible. Don't do that. I don't have interest about this sort of thing. As you are going around to other countries, I would do so. I'll find something. And they find out or cook the findings. They did find out. Chiwenga has got one big disadvantage. Chiwenga does not have a team. So he relies on information from many sources. And most of the time, they give him false information. So when I was dealing with Nyoka Mabunu, it became clear to me that there is some sort of group whose job is to give false information. Like someone would say, Gambakwe has gone to see Nyoka Mabunu, and they'll publish that information. And I know very well that I'm sleeping in my hotel and I haven't left my hotel. And someone will push that information out, it will be pushed to people who are supposed to communicate. People will get so angry. And people will be told Gambakwe has been given 127,000 and that money is been stolen. And I know for a fact that I've never received a cent, but that information is already gone through the channels. So people then believe that information is because there is a group that is just working to lie, and some of that information ends up in the hands of people like Chiwenga, and he ends up believing it. I don't think he's getting credible information. You failed Victoria Falls. How do you think you can run a country? I did not fail. We just abandoned the project. We left it because of interference. So we leave. When I see interference, I leave. If you don't have a president like Gambakwe, Munofan and Zara, let me tell you, Munofan and Zara, you're going to be arrested. You're going to be having people running around with instability. You're going to walk around without a plan. There's nothing worse than someone without a plan. Okay, but I think we're digressing. Let's wait for 2 hours and see what happens. It's going to be very interesting today and tomorrow, and we'll be following all that. And then next week, we've got 2 big elections. That is Namibia. Sorry, not Namibia. Why do I want to say Namibia? Tanzania and Ivory Coast. So we've got 2 important elections on the 25th and I believe on the 27th. So let's look at SADC before I go. Because SADC is already over there in Tanzania. So let's look at SADC. SADC has done so well. They've got so money ever since Mnangagwa left. So let's see if they've already arrived in Tanzania. So communication from the extraordinary Tracker Summit of the Community Organ Development of Australia. I don't know what they're talking about here. So go and check it out. So I haven't looked at this, so let me probably not do it now because I don't want to read things that are not properly digested. But as you know, there's an election over there in Tanzania and in Ivory Coast. Okay, I think we've covered it. I'd like to thank all of you for watching. I'll see you within the next few hours. Mkoma J says, iwewe wongwara kudarika Chiwenga manje hoji retired general warasika iwewe. Andako ngwara kudarika Chiwenga. Let me explain. I've got more information than Chiwenga. I can assure you that. The reason why is because I'm open to discussing with the different people. And also, I'm not under constant guard. So Chiwenga is under constant guard. Myself, I can come out of here today and I'll go in a flight and I'll go to Botswana. I'll go out of here and I'll go in a flight, I'll go to Johannesburg. I'll go out of here, I'll go in a flight and I'll go to Zambia. You don't even know who I meet when I go to Zambia. If I'm walking, you don't know who I'm meeting. If I go to Johannesburg, I can sit with intelligence people or with media people, or people can phone me and give me information. So I'm not like Chiwenga. Chiwenga is supposed to do something because he is in government. So the way that Chiwenga gets information is different from me. And anyway, he's constantly being monitored. So his phone is monitored, everything. They spend millions to monitor Chiwenga's phone. Who is he talking to? What is he talking about? So it's different. So what we need is a new government and a new order. For example, I don't believe that we should go out and say, arrest everyone. That one I don't agree with. So we have a plan. Okay. I think I should go. It's almost 45 minutes now. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. And I know that you want me to update you frequently. So we'll be updating every hour. So today I'll be coming here. Let's start at 10. So we'll be updating every hour between 10 and then tomorrow so that you all understand what's going on. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching, and a good day to you all.